Remember how uncomfortable that made Ryan feel? He's like, you're not editing this?
Did we edit? Do we know how to edit stuff?
Do we know how? Yeah, but I'm
We
not
know how
good.
we just choose not to.
Why? It's a lot more fun to have everything in there.
Oh, let's start. Oh, hey, is everybody here?
Is everyone here?
I
Hi.
think they're here. I think they're here. So, okay, some guests that we have on our show
Mm-hmm.
are too good to even hold back. We have to have them on more than once.
Yeah.
We learned that with Emily Starr.
Mm-hmm.
She told us about the murder freezer in Minnesota. It was so
Minnesota.
It was so good that we needed to hear her origin story and find out where babies come from.
Yeah, it's true. Now I know.
There was also Greg.
Greg is funny. I mean, come on, a fart story, and he tells it so well that we had to have him back.
Yeah, and so he told us a story. I won't spoil it, but we
Had to do with vacations.
had to do
Childhood
with
vacations.
And maybe maybe he's not awesome at vacation.
You'll have to watch to find
You'll
out.
have to watch to find out. But we felt that episode needed a follow-up bonus episode. This is the See What Happens Live version of that.
Yeah, with Andy Cohen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did we need to do that? Why do we need to have a talk about this?
So we tried something different.
Yeah.
Now we meticulously script out these podcasts. The pre-production is hours. It is
hours.
Take after take after take of these.
Yeah, so much editing.
And through all of the work that we've done, we kind of fell into a pattern where I generally introduce the guests, or I kick off the show.
Yeah.
And you're generally doing not only
the comedic relief, really.
Comedic relief.
Yeah.
You are the funny one.
Sidekick.
And there's some things that I've learned along the way is that you're always like, why don't you laugh at me in the shows? And I'm so busy.
I'm like, that was so funny. Why didn't he laugh? I say like the best line and nobody laughs on there.
Nobody laughs.
But then I get people afterward going, oh my God, that was so funny when you said this. And I was like, come on, dude.
Yeah. And I found out the reason why. When I listen to the show afterwards, it's super funny. But being the host, it takes me, like all my energy is like trying to keep the story going, make sure that we get from point A to point B, and you give the comedic relief. And when Greg told his second story, it was a story that you had done all the research on. So you knew the story. I didn't really know it. And I said, let's change it up. Why don't you be the host and I will do the easy job of just being fun.
It's so easy just to sit here and be funny.
Yeah. So over to you.
So then you had me lead the discussion, which I also found is hard. It's hard to keep people on track when they're telling a story. No offense, Greg, but it's hard. So I'm doing it and we're talking, and the whole time I'm thinking, Spencer's not saying anything at all, but I'm still trying to move it forward, but you're not saying a thing. And after we were done, I was like, that was a little awkward. Well, it got really awkward when I went back to post-production work and I watched it, and it was so painful to watch because you were like this the whole time.
So
it was awkward.
So here's what I learned from the experience.
Mm-hmm.
It is really hard to be funny. It is so hard.
Not one quip out of you, not one.
The other thing that I learned is it's really hard for me to be quiet. So the whole time I'm concentrating, I'm going like, don't talk, just listen, just be there and then put in some witty commentary. Well, a couple of things happened. One, I learned it's way harder to be funny. And so I didn't even say anything funny the whole time.
Yeah.
And two, I'm not good at listening. So what happened is I feel like we recorded it in the early afternoon.
Yeah, we did.
I got sleepy. So I was sitting there trying to
tell our listeners that Greg's story put you to sleep.
I was very sleepy, and so as I was listening, I was so busy concentrating on listening, I was going like this.
You're so busy concentrating.
So at one point, so as punishment, you told me I did so bad that you punished me by making me watch it. If you
Because
listen,
I had to I watched them all the way through to make sure everything is fine before we post them.
Yeah.
And it was so painful for me to watch it that I felt like you needed to also experience that.
Yeah, you usually take care of all the video stuff, and I take care of all the audio stuff. So usually the first time I listen to it is on audio.
Yeah.
And you told me I wasn't allowed to. So as I start
You
watching
had to watch it. You had to watch yourself the entire time.
There's at one point for our audio listeners, I was leaning on my chin, and I started fainting. So not only am I nodding off through a good chunk of it, at one point, like I'm resting my chin on my hands. And then Greg even called me out on it.
He did. I didn't notice that till afterward. He's like, oh, Spencer looks bored.
So this little podcast extra is mostly just an apology. It's an apology for a few reasons. One, apology to you.
Well, I had to do double duty. I had to then up my game and be both the lead host and the comedic relief.
So I apologize. One, being funnier is harder. So I'm
Yeah.
sorry that I even thought I could do it. Two, sorry to Greg. Your story was good, Greg. I was a little sleepy. And then three, to our listeners and our viewers, because I don't want you to think that I was, mostly our viewers. Our listeners are going to be fine. Our viewers are going to be like, this story, the host fell asleep. But it was a good story. For those who haven't listened to it yet, there's a joke about a bunny face and a purse at the end that has ruined all of our sponsorship opportunities. But
All of them are gone.
It was worth it. So I'm sorry. That's what happened. It was after lunch. I was trying a new job. We're never doing it again.
Yeah. I feel like the lesson learned is that you like to be in charge. And when you're not, you fall asleep.
I thought that this was going to work out both ways, where you're like, I learned that you do a really good job hosting this show.
I did learn that. It's a hard job to keep. I said that. I gave you props. It's a hard job keeping people on track.
The harder job is being funny. So Liz will be in charge of being
I
funny.
think the hard job for you is staying awake.
And for me, I'm going to talk so I don't fall asleep.
Yeah.
We've recorded a couple of episodes since, and I stayed awake the whole time.
You did. Yeah. Just that one. It's just one episode. It's fine. It's still very funny. People should listen to it. And if they watch it, just don't look at Spencer.
Please don't. And that's a rule for all of the episodes. Don't look at me. But if you haven't watched the episode yet, totally watch it. Greg is very, very funny. And if that's your first experience with Greg, go back to the very first episode of the whole show. Started us off with such a funny thing. And
where can people watch this?
Don't leave because of me.
Yeah.
We are going to have it on all the places. We're going to have it on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere.
If they want to rewatch Greg's episode.
Yeah, and some people are like, how do I find it? I can't figure out Facebook. It's messy. Latchkeyfriends.com. We've got all the episodes right there. And we've got a new thing where you can actually subscribe to our newsletter. So these little secret bonus episodes, they may not be for everybody. We might not give them to the whole world.
Maybe we're just going to give them to our newsletter subscribers.
Yeah, and like people are going to, we might tell them bonus stuff like what Milo's doing over there.
Here we go. You ready?
I don't want to wake him up.
Sleepy. That's what he does.
For our audio listeners, there's just a dog completely passed out.
Not just a dog. He's never just a dog. He is the cutest dog.
The cutest dog.
I will fight whoever thinks that he's not.
And even he falls asleep during the podcast sometimes.
Mostly when you're talking.
I have that effect on people and animals. Anyway, come back to the show. Go to latchkeyfriends.com for more. Subscribe to the newsletter. There's going to be some secrets in there.
Great content in there.
Yeah, and more full episodes coming up.
Telling all his dirty secrets.
More stuff coming up soon. So thanks, Liz. I'm sorry I ruined the episode.
It's fine. You're forgiven. Greg still doesn't forgive you though. We'll work on it.
We'll have him on one more time. We'll make it up to him.
Okay.
Okay. Talk to you guys soon.